Hey Aquarius, welcome back. Today is Wisdom and Warnings Wednesday. Let's dive right in and see what messages we have in store for you today. All right, what guidance is trying to reach you? There's some type of guidance around a situation where you are tricked or deceived. Either with a hidden matter or something illegal. This situation, the person actually succeeds. So they succeed with, and I'm not sure, I feel like, you've been getting this for the past couple of reads. And I feel like I've been reading like the outcome for some of my Aquariuses who had took matters into their own hands. I'm not sure why if I feel like it's coming up again, like the same situation is coming up again. So I really want to dive in deeper and see, what, if there's something additional that we should be knowing, or if this is for, some of the Aquarius who haven't quite made a decision yet on what they're going to do with this situation. But there's something about this situation where someone, was successful at tricking and deceiving you, because it's saying that you need to be cautious of, someone, winning, succeeded. You need to be cautious of being defeated when it comes to this situation. All right. And I feel like, whatever situation this is, I feel like this is a situation that you put yourself in. I feel like you put yourself in this situation. Put yourself in this situation, or like, put yourself in this situation. And I feel like, maybe, you were blinded because they tricked and deceived you. You were blinded, you were blindsided. And I feel like you're finally starting to see, what's really going on. I feel like, with this situation, what wisdom spirit is giving you is there's an emotional connection to this situation, which we've been having for the past couple of reads. But I feel like someone is like manipulating you, somebody that's close to you that has the capability of doing that. It could be a friend, it could be, an intimate connection. I feel like, Spirit is encouraging you to let this situation be reconcilable, because I feel like with this particular situation, there's going to be like a cause and effect. Like if this person did something wrong to you, I feel like spiritually they're going to have to, pay it back, or, it's going to be some type of effect to their actions. It's something about you, leaving the door open for this person to be able to right the wrong. strongly. It's going to require you to leave the door open for this person to be able to right this wrong. Spirit is guiding you to be able to, you know, you have to be confident. And I feel like for you, Aquarius, you might feel stupid. It might seem dumb. You know, somebody might, you know, you might be getting outside influence that's telling you things like, oh, what I would do. But the truth of the matter is nobody don't know what they would do until, you know, they put in that situation. But I feel like for this situation particularly, this could be a male that you're dealing with, but you have to, you know, you have to leave that door open confidently. Because if you allow your emotions to dictate your next move, you know, you're going to, it's going to enable you from being able to think clearly. And I feel like, you know, whoever this person is, they're on their high horse right now. Not sure if this has already happened or it's to come, but, you know, I feel like whoever this person is, they're childish. Like, they're on their high horse. You know, they're in this energy of being satisfied because, you know, they were able to do exactly what they intended on doing. They could have had you in a third party. Something cold and detached about you right now. Maybe you want to control the narrative of the story from here on out. It's something about you wanting to be in, yeah. It's like you're very upset, very, very cold, very bitter, very detached. You're stubborn right now. I don't think you want to listen. Yeah, you're stubborn right now. You don't want to listen to anything Spirit has to say to you regarding this matter. You're upset. This person let you down. It's like you so... Yeah. This person... Yeah, this person... Ooh. It's like you getting the news of this person, you know, or you looking for ways to, instead of you, you know, leaving that door of reconciliation open, I feel like you're looking for ways to get even. I feel like you're trying to do whatever it takes to get even. I feel like you're trying to end it your way. Or either that thought process needs to come to an end. You need to connect in spiritually right now. It's like you need to be talking to God right now, because you got to be careful about your next steps. You really have to be careful about your next steps. Because I really feel like, you know, if you allow yourself to be divinely guided, there's going to be something bigger, like something, some type of recognition for you. On the opposite end, if you don't listen, there's going to be, you know, spiritual ass whooping for you. There's going to be, you know, consequences. It's like you can receive or you can, like, it's up to you. But it's something about lifting, you know, being hopeful and lifting your vibration. Something about, you know, listening to a higher power. Something about being a bigger person and letting it go. Letting this loss go. It's highly encouraged by spirit to let it go. And I feel like it's very emotional. I do feel like it hurts. We know, you know, you very sad. You very heartbroken. This is, you know, somebody that you really love. You never expect, you know, not that. You didn't expect that. It's like, I'm getting like, you could have did, you know, it's a lot of things you probably could shake back from, and I feel like this one is very difficult. And it's not, I know it's not easy, you know, it's going to take time. It's going to take for you to keep constantly going and talking to God, talking to spirit, talking to the divine, talking to the universe. But I'm telling you, like, that's the only way you're truly going to have victory. Yeah, the Hierophant. You have to go within. You have to get the only advice. You cannot talk to another human. You know what I'm saying? Especially, you know, a human that's not even spiritually aligned. You have to go in and talk to spirit about how to handle this situation, about how to move forward. That's the only way you're going to properly be able to move forward. That's the only way. Your next, like, you have to be careful with your next steps, because your next steps are going to dictate what's next for you. It's going to dictate your future. It's going to dictate, you know, how you advance, you know, to the next level. Like, you know, it's going to dictate advancement to the next level. It's going to dictate expansion. It's going to dictate, you know, a lot of things. You have to move with integrity. You have to move in a way, you know, you can't fight fire with fire. It's a lot of passion out here on this spread, but, you know, just as much fire as is out here, you know, there's instances where we're being called to, you know, match that fire with spiritual and emotional balance, spiritual and emotional, you know, clarity. You got to challenge yourself to be better. You got to challenge yourself to be a person of integrity, a person of morals. Even when someone does something to you that you don't like. And I'm not going to lie, like, you know, you want to take matters into your own hands. And I'm not saying that you're wrong for feeling that way. I'm not saying that you're wrong for any emotion that you feel. In hell, they probably do deserve all of the things that you intended on doing to them. But the moral of the story is to give it to God. You have to leave the door open for them to be able to make a decision to do the right thing. You have to make that decision. I mean, it's highly encouraged. You can do whatever you want to do. And I feel like you really contemplating on what you should do. This person is straddling the fence between you and somebody else. The connection is very toxic. There has to be a change, but you can't be the one to force this change. You have to be, you have to allow everything to pan out how it's going to pan out. You have to give them the free will to make their own decision. I mean, you have the free will too, but if your free will decision manipulates the other person's decision, then you're really taking it away from them. You're really taking that, and then that's, something that you're going to have to pay for it. But this is something that, this is something that it has to be cleared out. But you know what? It needs to be done spiritually. That's the only way, like, if y'all are able to come back. Because maybe possibly you might be able to come back from this, But you have to leave the door of reconciliation open. If you want, like, I'm getting, like, for some reason I'm getting that you do want this to work with this person, even though they hurt. It's like you want to teach them a lesson so they can come back to you and do it the right way. Well, you trying to teach them a lesson is not going to make them come back and do things right. It's going to push them further away. You have to let this, you have to let things be cleared spiritually. You have to let whatever, bad, toxic, whatever ways that they got about them that's not any good, you have to let it be cleared out spiritually. You cannot take things into your own hands. I feel like by the time spirit done handling them, they gonna be, they gonna be exactly the person that they need to be. But you gotta let spirit do it. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like right now, like, there's something about here, take it with a grain of salt. There's something about spirit wanting you to not take it so serious. And I get it, it's a serious situation, but it's something about, not allowing yourself to be so caught up in this situation that it makes you so serious, makes you so, like detached, so emotional. Like, it's something about heavy, leaving the door of reconciliation open. And trusting in that. Because whatever this is that's happening, is happening for a reason. And ultimately, it's going to clear out a lot of things, and it's going to restore a lot of things and bring in balance. But you have to move a certain type of way. And y'all might be mirroring each other with y'all behaviors. Honestly, I feel like y'all might be mirroring each other with y'all behaviors. And maybe this happened because both of y'all need to change. Yeah, both of y'all need to change. It's going to be something challenging for both of y'all. It's something about reconciliation is heavy out here. Allowing yourself to be like, man, spirit is something about, spirit is all in work right here. Like, y'all both need, like, this, whatever is either about to take place or that has taken place, this is something that y'all both needed to go through, okay? This is something that y'all both needed to go through. There's a lesson in it here for both of y'all. This is going to be a well-deserved lesson. But it's going to bring balance. It's going to restore. It's going to reconcile a lot of things. It's going to take for, and, the narrative of the story is going to go by, who's allowing themselves to be divinely guided by spirit, by God. Who's going to let their intuition guide them into the next steps. Because, whatever lesson that's trying to be taught here is going to require strength and hard work. It's not going to be, something easy. But it is going to, It's so many ways the story could go. And I feel like in just as much as, and it's just as much as many ways this story can go, there's many ways, you know, so many choices and options that the both of you have. The hard way or the, you know, or the guided way. What you gonna choose? I feel like, you know, I'm hoping that you make the right decision. It's a lesson in it either way it goes. It just depends on how hard the lesson gonna be, or how hard you gotta work. Like, it's something about either way, it's a lesson that's gonna be learned. But it's gonna depend up to you, like the extremity of the lesson. I do see, you know, with the right decision being made, growth, like growth in the connection, growth in, you know, like there has to be a change in the way, you know, y'all view things. The way that y'all view things is very, you know, you move like in a lack type of way. I feel like it's for both of y'all. It could be for one of y'all, but you have to move. You have to. It's the way that you guys process information or process connections. And I don't know if this stems back to childhood trauma. I'm not sure. And possibly I feel like it probably could stem back to childhood trauma, but it's something about a pattern or a way of thinking. This is definitely a test because this is definitely a karmic lesson. You know, either way, a lesson is gonna be learned. You know, and you can either be your own. You know, you can either let go of, you know, karmic cycles, or you gonna let it get the best of you and break you down, and, you know, wear you out, man, stretch you out. But it's something about needing to move on from that type of mindset. But it's like, man, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a challenge. It's gonna be challenging for you to give, you know, abundant energy in this time of it's a lot of conflict. It's maybe it's a lot of illusions in here. It's a lot of, you know, it's a lot of hard decisions to make when it comes to doing the right thing with this connection. Man, it's a lot of lessons that gotta be learned in this, Aquarius. It's like, let me look at bottom of the deck. But the crazy part about it is, no matter how challenging it is, you have everything you need to do the right thing. You have to connect spiritually. You have to. That's the only way. Like, man, it's really up to you. It's really up to you what happens next. If this is like, you have to think about you know, pick and choose what's really worth fighting for. I feel like for my Aquarius, like this is somebody that you really, that honestly, I feel like you want to be back with this person. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I feel like this is somebody that you still want to be with, despite what they did wrong. But I feel like you want to show them you want to teach them not to fuck with you or not to play with you. But it don't work like that. And I feel like if you try to take it in your hands and make it go that route, you're gonna be learning a lesson too. Honestly, it's a lesson in it regardless, whether you take things in your own hand or not. But the severity of the lesson being learned is going to be totally up to you. I feel like the ball's in your court, you know, because I feel like whoever this person is, you know, they're mirroring you. So whatever you give, they're going to give too. Don't do something that you're going to regret. You know, I feel like, you know, heavy reconciliation was on the table. So this is something that can be worked out. I feel like this person would be willing to take you back, but it depends, you know, this person would be willing to, you know, right whatever wrong. They would have, but listen, it's not going to be off bat, you know, that they're going to be willing to right the wrong. It's going to be some lessons that they have to learn, and you have to allow them to learn that lesson. You have to keep the door of reconciliation open, okay? With that being said, while they are learning their lessons, it's going to be things that you have to, you know, fight and get through yourself, because I feel like it's challenging for you to allow, you know, a natural flow of karma to do what it's supposed to do. I feel like, you know, you're wanting to, you got it bad. You got it heavy about taking things into your own hands, because it's like you're very emotional when it comes to this situation. You're very, you know, even when you detach yourself, like your emotions are still high, and it still causes you to move in like a revenge-like manner. But the moral of the story is you have to keep the door of reconciliation open. You have to move in an abundant manner, meaning you have to move like this person has not hurt you. As tough as it is, that is what you have to do. There's some type of lesson some type of things you're going to learn, you know, during this process of, you know, allowing that door of reconciliation to be over and to move in a manner of abundance. Because if you do anything other than that, baby, you're going to be the biggest fucking loser. Not only will you, you know, lose this connection permanently with this person, but there's going to be some karmic debt that you're going to have to pay in return. I feel like, you know, you're wanting this connection. You want this family-like environment. You want this love, this bond with this person. But I feel like the person is still a bit immature. And not only are they immature, but I feel like they're immature when it comes. I feel like both of you guys are immature, but it's like you're immature in different ways. Like when it comes to like handling your emotions, you know, when it comes to decision making around your emotions and around like, you know, like, trust came to my mind, so you probably have some trust issues. But just, you know, decision making when it comes to dealing with people in situations when things don't go, you know, exactly how you wanted to go. Like I'm looking at this line, like anything, like you got a straight and narrow path for how you want things to go. And if anything, you know, like steers off or deters off the course, then it's like you are in upheaval. Like you get big mad. And you want to do things your way and can, you know, be the dominant one and control the situation. But it's like that, you know, that's a lesson in itself too, because love don't work off control. Like it's just like I'm getting so many downloads at once for your Aquarius, but you got things you need to learn, and so do they, before y'all can even get to a mutual point where y'all on the same accord, where y'all are aligned. You know, it's still some spiritual lessons in it on both sides, but it's like y'all are able to get in a space where y'all can have this 10 of Cups energy. Okay, it's possible, it's obtainable. However, it's gonna depend on what, you know, you ultimately, Aquarius, you are the one that's leading the narrative of the story. So whatever you do, that person is gonna mirror. Okay, it's gonna sound weird because You know, I don't know if this first action of them tricking or deceiving you was a mirror of something that you had already done to them previously that they don't know about. I don't know. But I feel like it's a lot of mirroring energy out here, okay? But ultimately with this situation, whatever you choose to do, that person is gonna mirror. So if you know, move in an abundant light manner, leave the door of reconciliation open, and allow yourself to learn whatever lessons that you need to learn gracefully, so they will do the same thing. But if you know, try to get in this mode where you're going to use vengeful tactics and you're going to make them feel how you feel and you're going to teach them a lesson, I'm going to show them not to play with me. They're going to learn about Aquarius today, on my mama, on my granny, on my dad. Like, I just feel like they're going to mirror the same thing. And then guess what? It's going to be dead. It's going to be ended. It's going to get to a place where it can't come back. And I feel like, you know, and then it's not going to be as simple as you being able to pick up and move on with your life. You know, I feel like you're going to have a lot of karmic debt to pay. And ultimately, if you do, so do they. But it's like, man, why? I'm just hearing the balls in your court, Aquarius. So until next time, take care.